Well, thanks again for having us this week, as usual. Quick recap on last night with Ireland and Czech Republic. What did you think of the result?
Well, the result as a draw was okay, but the performance was very poor, very disappointing. We were completely outplayed for long periods in the game by the Czech Republic, who are quite ordinary. They just scraped into the championships. We made them look like Barcelona. So the tactics haven't changed, and the style of play, it won't be any surprise to people because we were like that in the qualifiers. We got away with it in the qualifiers because we met some poor opposition. But when we met a really good team, the Russians, for example, at the Aviva, we were slaughtered. And we were slaughtered in Moscow, but by some miracle, they failed to score. They could have scored 6. So Trapattoni's very, very conservative. He's not changing. His tactics are wrong, but the players keep bailing him out. I mean, again, last night, Keith Andrew and Simon Cox. Andrew won the ball, set up the goal, and Cox did really well to finish it off. But it was a very worrying performance, because if we play like that in the championship finals against the best teams in Europe, and we are in a very tough group, we risk being humiliated. So it was very, very disappointing from that point of view. The other aspect of it that was disappointing was the treatment of James McLean, who has burst on the scene with Sunderland, is clearly an outstanding young player, and Trapattoni had said he would give him some game time. In fact, he gave him 11 minutes. Now that's wrong. It's insulting almost. It's very, very unfair. If you want to give a player a chance to impress, you've got to start him, or at the very least give him 45 minutes from half-time. So that was very, very unsatisfactory. Seamus Coleman didn't get on the pitch. Stephen Hunt, who we know all about, did get on the pitch and didn't do very well, incidentally. He's not in Wolves' team, and he's a direct rival to James McLean. Paul Green got on the pitch, who's playing centre-half, the back four for Derby County. It was absolutely ludicrous. He's got no chance of going to the championship finals, whereas Seamus Coleman, who's playing in the Premier League, or James McCarthy, who's playing in the Premier League, didn't get a sniff. So I think the way Trapattoni is behaving is troubling. It's not possible to understand any logic or reason behind it. And I think he's putting us in danger of being humiliated in the championship if he doesn't change, and we know he won't change. He believes in his system rather than our players. I believe in our players, and I think his system is being exposed every time we play a good team. I feel very strongly about that, and I know most people who know soccer and follow soccer in this country feel the same way. He's not a popular man in the soccer community in this country at this moment.
And then following Wednesday's draw, what are your thoughts then for the Euros come June?
Well, there was an interesting match at Wembley where England played Holland. Holland would be second favourites after Spain for the championship. They won 3-2. They were impressive at times. I watched some of that game. And Spain, obviously favourites. They had a 5-0 win over Venezuela, but Venezuela, a weak nation. But Spain are warm favourites to win the championship. Germany had a shocking result. They lost at home to France, and Italy had a shocking result. They lost at home to the USA. Now Ireland play Italy in the last match, which could be a crucial match. And also our other principal rival in the group, Croatia, were beaten 3-1 at home by Sweden. Now that should encourage us. The two results, the Croatian result and the Italian result, should encourage us to believe and hope that we can do very well and get out of our group and into the second phase of the championship. So that was the positive news last night. It didn't happen at the Aviva, it happened elsewhere.
And then to get down to business as our usual, for this weekend and the week ahead, what are your biggest bankers for those dates?
Well, first of all, I have to say last week I tipped Tottenham to beat Arsenal, and they were 2-0 up, and they looked as if they were home and dry, and they were hammered 5-2. It was a very disappointing performance by Tottenham, a shocking performance really. And they're involved in one of the big games again this weekend. Manchester United go to play Tottenham at White Hart Lane. It's a very big match. and I think it's highly possible that Tottenham will bounce back, but it's equally possible that United's determination and belief, which is outstanding, will result in a victory. So I wouldn't put anyone off backing United. They're 6-4 or thereabouts to win that match, and I think they have the determination to do it. The other big match of the weekend is Liverpool against Arsenal at lunchtime on Saturday. Liverpool struggled at Wembley to beat Cardiff. They have struggled to beat the lesser sides at Anfield. Lots of draws and disappointing performances at Anfield. But in the very big games this year, Liverpool have, performed well. And they knocked Manchester City out of the Carling Cup, for example. So I would encourage people to back Liverpool to beat Arsenal at Anfield, despite the fact that Arsenal played so well last week and Liverpool were so disappointing. It's very, very difficult for betting purposes at the moment in the Premier League. There's so much inconsistency among the top teams. Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool, they're all to varying degrees in decline. Manchester United are consistent without being impressive, and they have, but I would, if I was having a double this week, which I will have, I would back Liverpool to beat Arsenal and Manchester United to beat Spurs. But I would still stick with the 3 draws in doubles and trebles, which isn't doing too bad for us. Yeah. And this week, now I think we should still stick with the 3 draws in doubles and trebles. This week, I've gone for 3 games that I think will be very tight. Newcastle and Sunderland is North-East derby. Sunderland doing well. Newcastle are also doing very well, and they're trying to secure a European place. So I think there's a good chance that will be a draw. Another game I think may well end in a draw is Blackburn at home to Aston Villa. Again, I've said this before, Villa always go away. The first objective is to keep the game tight. Blackburn are struggling, but they're fighting for their manager to stay in the Premier League. So I think that would be a very tight, close game. So that's another possible draw. And the last one is Wigan and Swansea. Roberto Martinez, the Wigan manager, used to manage Swansea. Swansea have had a good season, passed the ball very well, but I think Wigan are better than their position in the league might suggest. I think that match is likely to end in a draw as well. So if you have doubles and trebles, 3 doubles and a treble, Newcastle, Sunderland, Blackburn, Villa, Wigan, Swansea, I think you've got a very good chance of picking up. We will get this sped up in totality one day, but we've had a number of doubles, and it's the best way to bet in a very uncertain Premier League at the moment.
True. Well, on that note, thanks again, and we'll see you next week.